All right, let's dive into one of the biggest headaches for any early stage founder. You've got this amazing, world-changing idea, but not a single line of code to show for it. So how on earth do you get anyone, especially investors, to take you seriously?
Yeah, it's that classic chicken and egg situation, right? You have the vision, you see the future, but you don't have that tangible thing to demo. And of course, you need the resources to actually build the thing. It can feel like you're completely stuck.
And look, it's a totally normal fear. So many founders think, without a working prototype or some early user numbers, I've got nothing. I have no proof. But what if I told you that entire way of thinking is just wrong?
This right here is the core idea we're going to unpack today. The game isn't actually about having a slick finished product. No, it's about showing powerful signals that you are absolutely on the right track. And that means we need to completely redefine what traction even is.
So let's get into it. Let's break down this mindset shift. We're basically throwing out the old, dusty, narrow definition of traction and replacing it with something way more powerful for early-stage founders. Okay, this slide is everything. The old myth on the left is what we all think we need: users, revenue, a working product. But the new reality for you is on the right. Traction is about gathering signals. It's about proving you're learning, finding real demand, and getting commitment from people before you even build.
Think about it. Every single conversation you have, every little insight you get from a potential customer, every time someone's eyes light up and they say, "Oh, wow, I need that," that is forward motion. That's traction. It's proof that you're getting smarter and not just building something in a vacuum.
Okay, so if traction is really about signals, how do you actually go out and get them? Where do you even start? Let's jump into the playbook.
The whole process kicks off with people, not programming. You got to start by having real conversations to deeply understand their pain. Then, you package all those learnings up to show that you've truly mapped the landscape. And finally, you start looking for that magic ingredient, evidence that the market is actually pulling your solution out of you.
This, right here, is your #1 job. Seriously, after you've had dozens of these conversations, you should be able to describe your user's problem even better than they can. That kind of deep understanding, that's what builds incredible credibility with investors way before you have a product.
I love this quote because it gets right to the heart of what pull feels like. It's when people are asking you, "Hey, when is this launching?" Or, "Can I get on an early access list?" They are literally pulling it from you. That tells an investor you're not just pushing an idea on the world. The world is calling for your solution.
And don't sleep on this one. When you can just calmly and clearly explain the problem, what you've learned so far, and your unique insight, that is a huge signal. It shows you've done the work, you've gone deep. That kind of clarity builds trust like nothing else, especially when you don't have a product to hide behind. So you're out there gathering these signals, you're learning a ton from conversations. Awesome. But the next step is to turn all that interest into something tangible, something you can actually point to and show an investor.
And here are 4 really concrete ways to do it. You can build a meaningful waitlist, and we'll get into what that means. You can run simple, low-fidelity pilots without writing any code. You can get early customers to sign letters of intent, or you can even file for intellectual property. These are all real, tangible signals.
So let's talk about the waitlist. It's the classic move, right? A huge list with thousands of emails. On the surface, that seems pretty impressive.
But here's the question you have to ask yourself. What does that number actually prove? Does it prove real commitment, or does it just prove mild curiosity? I mean, anyone can type in an email address. That doesn't mean they're ever going to pay you a dime.
And this slide shows you the difference between the amateur and the pro approach. On the left, you have the curiosity waitlist. It's just a box that collects emails. But on the right, you have a commitment waitlist. This one asks smart, qualifying questions. It confirms their intent. It turns a vanity metric into a real pipeline of qualified leads.
And hey, the same thing goes for pilots. A lot of founders get stuck here, thinking they need to build something first. But that's a total myth. You can literally just simulate the process manually for someone, or walk them through a slide deck. If someone says yes to that kind of pre-product pilot, that is a massive signal that their problem is urgent and real. Okay, we've talked a lot about finding signals out there in the market from your potential customers. But honestly, at this super early stage, the most powerful signal of all isn't about your idea, it's about you, the founder.
Smart investors are looking for something they call learning velocity. It sounds a little technical, but it's really simple. It's just the speed at which you're getting smarter. Are you gaining new insights every week? Is your pitch getting sharper every time you give it? That speed is a critical sign of future success.
And there it is. That's the punchline. You can actually share this journey with investors. Show them, here's what I used to think, here's what I learned, and here's what's next. That proves momentum. It shows you're not just standing still, you're evolving fast.
And when you're out there making these kinds of strategic moves, lining up pilots, filing for IP, you're not waiting around for permission. You're acting like a real founder who's building a real company, not just tinkering on a project. And trust me, investors absolutely notice that.
So, to wrap it all up, the signals that you, as a founder, are sending come down to three things: the clarity of your story, your deep, genuine empathy for your users' pain, and the tangible proof that you are always moving forward, always learning, always adapting. So, the biggest thing I want you to walk away with is this. Stop thinking of traction as some future milestone you have to hit. It's not. It's a continuous process of gathering signals that you can and absolutely should start on day one.
You don't need a product to prove you're building a real company. You just need conviction, and that conviction comes from learning. So I'll leave you with this question. What is one signal, one piece of learning, one proof of demand, or one sign of commitment that you can go out and build today?